What's going on YouTube? The Apophis here and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a special one. It's going to be another episode of like my little lifetime stories bullshit. And I think this one is incredibly funny. Although the ending isn't as good as the rest of the story, but nonetheless the story is absolutely hilarious and you should get a good kick out of it. So without further ado, let's get this thing started. When I was a kid, like maybe 5 or 6 years old, I grew up in Michigan. So deer and wildlife and all that other happy horse shit was like a prevalent thing. But anyway, so there we were. We're coming back from visiting my grandma who lived in the middle of frickin' nowhere, man. Like you're driving through cornfields for the longest time, nothing but farms, to get to her little bitty place out in the middle of nowhere. Anyway, so she was giving us a ride home in this little bitty pickup truck, like maybe S10 size pickup truck, and it was a stick shift. So my grandmother was driving, I was in the middle, and my mom was on the right side, and it was the three of us, and we were on the way back to our house, which was, I don't know, 45 minutes away probably. Anyway, so there we are. We're driving down this dark road, one lane on each side, and there's just woods everywhere, woods on both sides, and we're going, and my mom sees this baby deer on the side of the road. Well, this baby deer's mother had been hit by a car, so my mom, for some reason, felt compelled to pull over and rescue this little tiny fawn. Now, if you look on the screen right now, you're going to see a little picture of a fawn, a baby deer, because some of you might not have them in your area. Anyway, that's what the deer looked like, okay? Can we agree to that? Anyway, so my mom goes out, picks up this deer. This thing couldn't have been bigger than a small dog, and sits in the front seat with it. Now, I don't know if you've ever been around a baby deer, but they let out this crazy scream. It's called bleating, and if you listen right now, I'll insert a track. Alright, so now we know what that sounds like. Alright, now we know what the deer looks like, we know what the deer sounds like. Let me mind you what this situation is like to a 6-year-old. Not only is this deer bleeding, but it's kicking. Now, in reality, this deer's not kicking that much. It's wiggling, right? Wiggling around, because it's like, what the fuck? And it's got a right to be like, what the fuck? But when you're 5 or 6 years old, it's a freaking tornado of deer legs flying around everywhere. This damn thing is going ape shit. So we know what the deer looks like. We know what the deer sounds like. But to me, this is what the deer looked like. That's right, crazy deer. That's what he looked like. This is what the deer sounded like. So although this deer is tiny and innocent and it's not even moving, this thing is freaking out. So I got this crazy ass look on my face. Looks like this crazy troll guy right here. And I'm screaming. I am losing my mind. I am freaking out because we have this deer, this fawn, in the front seat of a freaking truck. And not deers, that's stupid. Deer don't belong in the front seat of a truck. Well, apparently this deer had like some crazy eye infection because maybe it got clipped by a car or something. I don't even know. I don't remember. I was really little at the time. I only remember these key parts. But anyway, so my mom was like, okay, so we'll take it home. We'll try to nurse it back to health, then we'll let it go. Now, it wasn't uncommon for us to have animals. Like, we raised rabbits and stuff like that, and we raised them for both pets and butcher and things like that. And we hunted, so I'm used to associating deer with food in the freezer and things of that nature. Anyway, we're driving home. Well, we get home, and we had a little bitty house. I had like a fenced-in backyard, and then we had like little rabbit hutches off to the side. Well, I guess putting it in a fenced-in yard wasn't a good enough fucking idea, because next thing you know, we got a deer in the kitchen. I don't know how many of you are around deer. Deer don't belong in the kitchen any more than deer don't belong in the front seat of an S10 pickup truck that's a stick shift when there's no room for my legs and it's flailing around like a tornado of hooves and horns. Even though it didn't have horns at all, it still had friggin' spots. Anyway, so this deer's like roaming around in the kitchen and doing its thing. It comes walking around the living room and it's just shitting everywhere, doing its little thing as a baby deer. You know, what can you expect it to do? Next thing you know, we end up having this damn deer for the longest time, like maybe 2-3 weeks. We ended up turning it over to the Department of Natural Resources because we couldn't nurse its eye back, so we were hoping that they could. and unfortunately, the eye infection ended up killing this deer in the long run. But really, the point of the story is, don't let your parents be crazy, and if you're ever in a situation where you gotta put a deer in the truck, expect some crazy shit to go down. But it really ain't as bad as it sounds, unless, of course, you're 5 years old. Alright guys, thanks for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed the story. Another weird ass fucking deer story out of me, right? Anyway, if you like what you heard or saw, do me a huge favor, click the like button. If you want more of what you heard or saw, especially stories like this, you're going to want to click that subscribe button. 2 videos on the screen. If you like boobs, you're going to want to click the one on the left. Even though there's no boobs in it, just click it anyway. And if you like kittens, then click the one on the right, because if not, somewhere in the world a kitten's going to die. As always, follow me on Twitter, and thanks for stopping by. I hope you guys have a great day.